Welcome, time for some art fun. Today we're going to be painting with fountain pen ink again, and we're going to talk about some YouTube struggles, so stick around. Last week was the first week that I did not post a video since I started my YouTube channel last year. And the reason for that is because my equipment, my camera, my phone, my editing software, it just all seemed to poop out right at the same time. And it was a huge struggle to even get this video into editing, and I have no idea why. I just feel so frustrated and sad because the footage that I shot for you, I was really excited to share, and I know I will reshoot it. I still have my notes, I still know what I wanted to say, but I'm just starting to feel so sad and dejected that I wasn't able to figure out how to get those videos to you. And instead, you had a whole week without any videos for me. So I'm so sorry about that. But I am recreating some of the footage here. I hope that you enjoy me painting with this Delaware color from Colorverse. It is a fountain pen ink. It is water soluble. And so what you saw here was I wet the entire page, and then I took an eyedropper and dropped some of the ink onto the wet page. And now I'm just kind of rolling it around, and I'm trying to show you the different techniques that I use with fountain pen ink. But frankly, just watching ink like this move on the page is so relaxing and regenerative to me that I wanted to really focus on this on a week when I had a lot of stress about not being able to bring you guys the video content that you're used to, and I know I rely on from my favorite YouTubers, and I really hated disappointing you and feeling like I let you down. But one reason that I wasn't able to just throw everything to the side, put everything away, and work on this problem until I figured it out is because my huge amount of family came out from Pennsylvania to Colorado to visit me here for the first time since I moved here 9 years ago. I always go to them in Pennsylvania because they all live there, and it is a major production to get a bunch of kids on a plane and get them out to Colorado. So I do understand that. And frankly, my sister has had a small child at any given point over the last 9 years. Her oldest is turning 9 next week. So, it was really a big deal for them to come out and visit me, and I really wanted to focus on it and enjoy it. And if I had to figure out why everything just stopped working randomly for the first time since I had my YouTube channel right when they were coming, that really wouldn't have been right. So I really appreciate you all giving me that grace and allowing me that time to figure out how to fix this problem after they left. Again, I'm giving you some of these joyous close-up moments with my ink because I love painting with ink for these reasons. I did lose the footage of starting the sketch of this duck, this little baby duckling, painting the black in, painting the eye, and darkening up the ink around the body. But I was able to salvage this remaining footage of painting in the duck with my Regina's watercolors. So I hope you enjoy this while I talk you through my trip and the wonderful time that I had with my family coming out here. So there was a 9-year-old, a 6 almost 7-year-old, and a 4 almost 5-year-old on this trip with my sister, brother-in-law, and both of my parents. We went all over Colorado. This is their first time here as a family. It's the kids' first time here. It's my sister's first time here. And so I really wanted to give them a taste of how beautiful it is here. And so I'm going to try to drop in some pictures for you to show you some of the places that we went. But I do want to tell you that one of the coolest parts of this trip was my sister and I had the idea to sketch the trip with the kids, and they did love it. So all of those age groups, and still they all loved it equally. We had such a good time bringing these little baby sketchbooks with us and these little baby sketch kits with us. We got pencil cases for each of the kids and filled them with a gel pen, one super shiny fine tech metallic watercolor in a different color for each child, a water brush for each child, and then we also got them a bunch of other little things. Like I got each of them, or picked out for each of them, a different color Neocolor 2 crayon, which they loved. But the thing that they really focused on and loved the most were these Faber Castell gelatos. They loved the gelatos, and they were really great because it got them a lot of colors for a very cheap price, and they could really squish them and smush them, and they loved doing that. They could do that in a way that they really can't with the with the Neocolor 2s or the watercolor brush if they didn't want to destroy the brush. So it was really wonderful to be able to get them so many different tools to use with their art, and they really did go to town using them. Every time we went somewhere new and special where there was something fun to draw or paint, I would take out my sketchbook, and I got a special sketchbook to match theirs, the same exact size, a really small sub 5x5 inch sketchbook, and really cheap, really affordable. I think they were like $5 or $6 each for these really small fit in your hand sketchbooks. And we would just bust them out and paint and draw whatever we were looking at. It was so much fun. So I'm going to show you some of those drawings here as well. The first one was from Dinosaur Ridge. That is a place here on the Front Range of Colorado where you can see old dinosaur footprints. There's something they called the Dinosaur Highway, where literally you see a bunch of footprints of a bunch of different dinosaurs migrating across a path of earth, like a little slab of earth, and that earth has been shoved up by the movement of tectonic plates over time, and now it looks like a wall instead of ground. So it's so cool. And there's also something they call the Dinosaur Boneyard, where there are dinosaur bones in the rocks. There's even a spine in one of the rocks down by the Dino Ridge visitor center, and it's so cool. And there's a visitor center you can go in as part of this. There are a bunch of sculptures of stegosauruses that you can pose near, because Colorado, right here where I live, is the first place that there were stegosauruses or brontosauruses, two of some of the kids' favorite dinosaurs. So I made sure to paint a stegosaurus at Dinosaur Ridge as my first painting, and the kids all did their own paintings of whatever struck their fancy. And it was really cute because the 4-year-old basically just disregarded that we were painting or drawing what we were seeing, whereas the 6 and the almost 9-year-old did do what we were looking at. Like they tried to do dinosaurs at Dino Ridge or dino bones at Dino Ridge, but the 4-year-old was like, I'm going to draw a monster. And that's pretty much what she drew anywhere we went. The second place that I did a drawing was at the Boulder Pearl Street. So Pearl Street in Boulder is this really beautiful walkway where cars are not allowed to drive down. It's just footpaths and, foot traffic, I should say. And it's a ton of different stores, and they have so many candy stores and toy stores, and the kids were going absolutely nuts. And then there are also these little playground-y type things littered throughout Pearl Street. And so there were these giant boulders that kids can crawl on and play on, and they crawled and played on those boulders. And that's what I chose to draw for our Pearl Street moment. And it was so much fun. They were so wonderful and had such a great time on Pearl Street. The next one that I decided to draw was when we went to a Rockies game. And so I just painted the field from our perspective. We actually had pretty good seats, but it was so stinking hot that we went up to the free seats because they were the only ones that were in the shade. The open seating, the nosebleeds, were the only ones that were in the shade. So we went all the way up there, sat in the shade, enjoyed ourselves. And the little one had cotton candy, the other two had ice cream, and we all drew, the boys, the older children, drew the Colorado Rockies logo. They drew some baseballs. One drew a whole scene of like a baseball bat and a ball being thrown and someone hitting it. I mean, it was really crazy. They went so to town with their drawings, and it was so much fun to draw right along next to them. And honestly, so exciting to see how amped up they were to draw with me and to make art with each other, as opposed to wanting, tech time, like wanting to get on their phones, because that's a real struggle. Of course they want to be on their phones. We all want to be on our phones. Adults want to be on our phones. It's exciting. But I don't want to be on my phone if I have the opportunity to make art. I want to be making art. And it was amazing to see them feel the exact same way. They had so much fun. And one of the things that you will have seen a little peek of at the very beginning of the video, I let them paint an entire backside of a page in my Etcher Lab sketchbook using this same technique that I used for the background and a lot of the duck too in this video, which is just wetting the page and dropping with an eyedropper fresh ink right into the page. And the more it pools, the more different colors you see. If you leave white areas, then it ends up spreading into those areas and showing the different colors. There's some word that people do for testing the different colors that ink will become based on how much water you let them travel through. And that's kind of what this page does. And that's why you're seeing these bright blues. It almost looks like, sunlight or a blue sky peeking through. it's really beautiful, the effects that you can get with ink. And this is the page that the boys did just by eyedroppering in. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for bearing with me. And I will say, I highly recommend that you sketch on trips and sketch with your family. I'll show you this little sketch kit that I used, and that's what inspired that whole thing. Remember to check if you're subscribed. If you're not subscribed, I would so appreciate it if you would subscribe. It really helps the channel. Until next time, remember, create something cute.